Jets fans, it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. As we inch closer to training camp, there's one position group that still feels uncomfortably unsettled: defensive tackle. Outside of Quinnen Williams, there's no clear answer, no proven starter, no locked-in depth. So what's the real plan here? Let's break it down. But before we get into it, if you're a diehard Jets fan, make sure you're subscribed to Jetstream News. We're your go-to source for daily engaging content on all things. Help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers this offseason by hitting that subscribe button now. As training camp approaches, the New York Jets find themselves in a familiar yet frustrating position: a lack of clarity at defensive tackle. Outside of Quinnen Williams, arguably one of the most dominant interior linemen in the league, the depth chart feels like a patchwork of veterans, rotational pieces, and developmental flyers. While fans were hoping for a big splash in free agency or an early draft pick at the position, the team instead opted for a series of modest signings and under-the-radar additions. Now, with camp on the horizon, the battle for the DT spot next to Quinnen is wide open, and it's one of the most critical questions facing the Jets' defense. Let's break down the top candidates and how each might fit in new defensive coordinator Steve Wilks' system. Derek Nnadi enters the picture as perhaps the safest option to start alongside Quinnen. A Super Bowl-winning veteran with years of experience in Kansas City, Nnadi brings a specific skill set: run defense. Though his role diminished last season, transitioning into more of a rotational player, his history as a consistent starter and run clogger could make him the early favorite. On early downs, Nnadi's presence in the middle could allow Quinnen Williams to do what he does best: wreak havoc in one-on-one pass-rushing situations. However, there are concerns. His recent performance dipped, and Kansas City chose to move on. So the question remains: does he still have enough left in the tank to be a reliable three-down presence? Or is he more of a situational option in this new scheme? Another name generating quiet buzz is Byron Cowart, a former starter with the Patriots who has bounced around the league. Cowart reportedly stood out during OTAs and minicamp, particularly as a pass-rushing interior lineman. But there's a catch: none of those practices involved pads or full contact. In non-physical environments, defensive linemen often shine, so it's hard to get a true evaluation. That said, if Cowart can carry that momentum into camp, he could challenge for a rotational spot or even starter reps on passing downs. His experience as a 17-game starter under Bill Belichick in 2020 suggests he's capable. And after a strong bounce-back year with the Bears in limited reps, Cowart may be the sleeper to watch. Leonard Taylor might be the most intriguing developmental piece on the entire defensive line. Though he went undrafted, Taylor was widely projected as a 4th or 5th round pick in many mocks. His athletic profile and explosive first step make him a compelling option, especially on third downs. Taylor is best used as a penetrator, a guy who can get upfield and disrupt passing lanes. If used correctly in obvious pass situations, pairing him with Quinnen could create real interior pressure. It's worth noting that this coaching staff didn't bring him in, which puts him in a tough spot. But if he flashes in preseason, cutting him could be a risky move the Jets regret later. Taylor may not be ready to start, but his upside is undeniable. At just 25 years old, J2 Field brings a blend of youth and NFL experience. He's played for the Jaguars and the Bengals, mainly as a rotational run defender. With his size and background, he fits the mold of a gap plugger, someone who can keep linemen off the linebackers and help control the interior. If Nnadi struggles or gets injured, Tufele could be the next man up. He may not have a flashy resume, but in a group full of question marks, steady performance could be all it takes to earn a role. With a new coaching staff known for maximizing defensive potential, Tufele may benefit greatly from Aaron Glenn and Stephen Wilks' guidance. One of the most exciting undrafted additions is Payton Paige, the former Clemson Tiger. A 5-star recruit coming out of high school, Paige had a strong 2023 season after a slow start to his college career. Physically, he's an NFL-level athlete: massive frame, explosive traits, and powerful hands. His lack of early college production and past weight concerns caused him to slip out of the draft, but when he's on the field, Paige looks the part. Right now, he's likely a developmental guy fighting for a practice squad spot, but don't be surprised if he turns heads in training camp, especially in live-action reps. He could follow the Leonard Taylor path: raw talent, under-the-radar addition, big upside. The Jets also brought in Fedarian Maisi, a former second-round pick by Washington, and Mike Lockhart, MOA, from West Virginia. Maisi has been a disappointment so far in his career and may not be a serious contender unless he drastically turns things around. MOA, on the other hand, is another undrafted option whose athleticism and motor make him a name worth tracking in camp. Right now, the Jets' interior defensive line looks like a patchwork unit, a mix of veterans, upside projects, and camp hopefuls. The reality is, this is one of the weakest position groups on the roster, along with wide receiver. There's no clear long-term solution yet. The team appears to be hoping that someone, anyone, steps up and surprises during camp and preseason. And if that doesn't happen, don't be shocked if 2026 free agency or the draft is where the Jets finally invest heavily at defensive tackle. It's worth noting, the Jets are currently projected to be top 5 in cap space next offseason, giving them flexibility to go after a premier DT if needed. Steve Wilks, the new defensive coordinator of the Jets, has a well-defined history: controlled aggressiveness and defense based on physical execution and situational intelligence. He prefers a front with interior penetration, where the 3-tech DT is released to attack gaps, while the 1-tech anchor and occupies multiple blockers. This system requires perfect synchronization between the DTs. Quinnen Williams has already proven to be one of the best interior disruptors in the NFL, but without someone reliable by his side to absorb double blocks or close race gaps, Quinnen becomes less effective. This makes the decision on the second DT fundamental to the success of the entire front seven. Wilks also likes to rotate his defensive lines a lot. This means that even players who are not starters will have a significant role in third descent, goal line, and base formations packages. The depth in this unit will be constantly tested. Let's imagine some scenarios that can happen. Scenery 1, Nnadi is an absolute starter. If Derek Nnadi recovers his ideal physical form and dominates as a run stopper, the Jets' defense gains solidity in the first and second down. He holds the center, releases Quinnen, and reduces the exposure of linebackers. This stabilizes the defense from the initial snap. Scenery 2, Leonard Taylor turns into a weapon in third downs. Wilks puts Taylor next to Quinnen in pass packages. The double pressure coming from the middle forces QBs to leave the pocket, where Hassan Reddick and Jermaine Johnson wait. Taylor may not play 40 snaps, but 15 impactful snaps change games. Scenery 3, Cowart becomes the surprise piece of rotation. If what we saw in OTAs is real, Byron Cowart can become a key piece in hybrid packages. It can align as 3-tech on base and also on overfronts with disguised pressure. This would give a lot of flexibility to Wilks' playbook. Scenery 4, Paige or Tufel gain space after injuries or by merit. The season is long and injuries happen. If this occurs, names like J. Tufel or even Payton Paige can gain crucial snaps. This depth is vital, especially in December, when the defense needs to dominate to guarantee places in the playoffs. The Jets are designed to have one of the 5 largest salary spaces in the NFL in 2026. This is important because if none of these names firms as the solution next to Quinnen Williams, the team will be able to target no one in the market, seek a dominant DT in FA 2026. Target no 2, use a high choice in the draft to find a young starter. Target no 3, keep one of the internal names with cheap extension if they develop. This budgetary flexibility allows patience. The coaching staff can observe without pressure and decide more calmly who deserves to remain on the roster in 2026. The truth is that this battle for space alongside Quinnen Williams is not only about 2025, it's about the future of the Jets' defensive line. If someone stands out, be it Nnadi, Cowart, Taylor, Tufel, or even Paige, the Jets can internally solve one of the most critical positions in the defense. Otherwise, the next major front office investment will come around. For now, the reality is that no one has the guaranteed vacancy. And this makes the training camp and the 2025 preseason become one of the most important periods for the Jets' defensive line in recent years. So now, Jets fans, the question is yours. Who's the real answer next to Quinnen? Will it be the experienced Nnadi, the reborn Cowart, the explosive Taylor, the steady Tufel, or the dark horse Paige? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss our full breakdowns during training camp. We're just getting started. And if this position heats up like we think it might, the Jets' defense could be even scarier than anyone expects. So Jets fans, what do you think? Is Derek Nnadi the guy? Could Leonard Taylor or Cowart break out? Or will it be someone else entirely? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk DT depth, schemes, and who's ready to rise. And as always, thanks for watching and go Jets.